Hello.
Hi. So we have Sherry and Kim K, and then Alexis Kirk is joining us as well. And so we did receive one question about the classroom management series from Julie, who attended our fall session, early fall in October. And she was interested in learning more about the Tier 1 strategies. And so one of the things that we want to highlight for Julie and anyone else who might be interested is that when you go into Schoology, and you'll see a list of those courses listed by modules. The first one we want to go to is Module 7. And then under Resources and Supports, open up here. There is a book that we shared at the last fall session in November, because a lot of questions around how do we best offer students choice. And so we wanted to highlight a resource that's entitled Learning to Choose, Choosing to Learn. And it really talks about the zone of proximal development and how do we go about offering students choice based on using what we know about our students, where they are academically and where they are as far as what would be just the right amount of challenge for them when we think about choices. The other thing that it talks about is the amount of choices that we should be offering students, which is really based on research between 2 and 5 choices. And again, that goes back to knowing your students well and being able to offer the right amount of choice. The other thing we wanted to highlight in the course in regards to strategies is when we scroll down to task difficulty. Yeah, the zone of proximal development. And you'll see a link there. And if you click here on the arrow on the right-hand side, it opens up to that, what I was just talking about, like how do we go about figuring out where is the right zone for students? And so even though Botsky's research is much older, it's still very relevant because when we have students who are in this green area in their comfort zone, a lot of times what happens is that we usually get negative behaviors because the students are bored and they're not engaged. But then we also have the other extreme on the pendulum when we think about the panic zone. And so that's where students probably more than likely do not have any prior knowledge or context from which to make connections. So when we think about the brain research and being able to create those neural pathways, if students don't already have some type of background information or a little bit of expertise about a topic, that's usually what happens, is that there is no connection in the brain, and so students feel very overwhelmed and become frustrated, and so we usually get those responses of fight, flight, or freeze. And so we don't want students in the panic zone, but we don't want them in their comfort zone. So really getting to that point in between those two stages of where it's just the right amount of appropriate challenge for them, where they are engaged, they are involved in making choices if it's choices that we're offering, because they're full confident that yes, it is challenging, but yet it's hitting in the right zone of where they do have some background connections based upon the topic, and they're able to move forward with that. So that's the other thing we wanted to highlight as well. And then if we go back to the courses again, the last thing we want to share, and I think it's under the module for opportunities to respond. I'll open that up for you. You'll see a link to the Universal Design for Learning Toolkit. And this is basically the goal book. And it's currently free, which is always nice as educators. Anything that we can get for free that's of quality. And so when we think about UDL, we're really thinking about how are we basically making sparks and connections for students using different parts of the brains. So strategies for engagement, and there is a plethora listed here that you can pull from. There's also strategies for representation, and then strategies for expression. So thinking about ways that students can respond, which fits appropriately and perfectly in this module here. So again, there's like several resources here that you can pull from. Go ahead.
I'm wondering, Kim, how much it costs to get these UDL strategies. Is that a pay-for service?
Currently not, but I will tell you this, that if you want them by content area, it is going to cost. They do, Goldbook does offer it so that you can have those broken down by content area. If you're wanting that, then it is going to come at a cost.
Okay, well, I just wanted to make sure, so
Sure.
people didn't think, oh, we can't get that because of the cost.
Absolutely.
So,
that's currently what we have at this time in regards to strategies. I don't know if my colleagues want to offer anything else as far as tier one strategy suggestions, ideas, or just kind of piggyback on what we've already talked about. When we think about choice, when we think about zone of proximal development with task difficulty, and then thinking about just pulling from a resource of strategies to help support you in the classroom.
I think that Kim did an excellent job putting that together for you guys to have. The other thing that I would say is that at our November 15th training, we were not able to get through all the modules.
Correct.
So we recorded module 7 and module 8, or G and H, however you want to list it. But we have those recorded now, so that then if you guys would need them for some of your trainings, or anybody would, those will be available. And I don't remember the website. How would they have access to those?
So what we can do is we can post those links into those modules for module 7 and module 8. If you're not able to access them in the course for whatever reason, we can also send those to our partners who are interested, who attended the sessions via email as well.
Okay. All right. So I think the only other thing that we wanted to share today is that we have looked at our calendars and are proposing some dates for some PBIS trainings in the second semester of fiscal year 20. And so we're looking at tier 1 and offering a 3-day blended PD for all of the tier 1 that would include the early childhood piece, starting on February 7th, coming back on February 28th, and ending on November 20th. That would be here at Hopewell, Region 14, State Support Team 14, Hopewell Center in Hillsborough. Lunch will be provided that all 3 of those days, and we will go from 8:30 in the morning till 3:30 in the afternoon. Registration on STARS will be open after January 10th. We're going to offer Tier 2 training again. That will be a 1-day. It'll be on February 10th here at Hopewell, Region 14. Lunch will be provided for that event. Again, that session will last from 8:30 to 3:30. And then finally, we're going to do a Train the Trainer with classroom management again, and we're going to do that on May 5th. That'll be here at Region 14 Hopewell Center from 8:30 to 3:30, and lunch will be provided for that as well. So all of 3 of those will be in STARS or just after January 10th, 2020. So just so you're ready, or if you want to talk it up with your friends, that will be an option.
So we do have a plan for the spring. So again, feel free to connect with us if you have additional questions about any of the resources we shared, as well as upcoming professional development dates as well. Thank you, and you guys have a wonderful Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And I hope you go into the new year excited as much as we are.
Yes.
Take care.